Hey, welcome. It's Andrew Priestley, and this is Multiply Your Money, and it's episode number 14. And what I'm doing is I'm reading from a book called The Money Chimp, and I hope I haven't got that backwards. Did it appear backwards? There it is. The Money Chimp. Okay, there's the Money Chimp. Spend less, save more, get out of debt faster. And look, this is a really, really quick one, but on episode 13, we talked about buffer. And if I'm looking at the book here, I was talking about how to plan for the future. And, you know, future goals go in short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals, okay? So a long-term goal might be to prepare for your pension, and it might be to, you know, you might be covering off on things like ISAs and pensions and preparing for retirement, things like that. But a short to mid-term goal is, if you like, to achieve this idea where you feel that, you know, money's working for you and you feel quite relaxed about it. So we've got this idea of creating a financial buffer or a financial cushion, and it's all part of planning. So if you're spending less and saving more, then you can actually dedicate that money into a financial cushion or a financial buffer. And for personal finance, the recommendation was to have 3 to 6 months worth of overheads in cash reserves, and if ideally 12 months would be fantastic. And you know, there are percentages for your business. So people say, well, how do you do that? Because I cover that in the book, right? But I also then created a special report called the Spend Calculator, and the Spend Calculator sort of explains, okay, here's what a financial buffer and a cushion looks like. It gives you a little working example here of a spreadsheet of monthly and annual fees, and it gives you the total, and then you divide that by 12, and that's what your on average your overheads are per calendar month, right? And then there's a sheet there that you can go through and complete your own, and you put the subtotals down there, and then divide by 12 to get your monthly totals, and then from that, then you start calculating your buffer, right? So in the working example here, I gave an example of someone whose household expenses were £2,056 per calendar month to run their household, right? Okay, and I've calculated here. You can sort of I'll go that way, so you can see here that I've got, you know, what would that mean for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, down to 12 months. And so as a financial cushion, if they had 12 months worth of overheads in cash buffer as a cash cushion in savings somewhere, they'd have around 24,000, and that would mean that they have got more than enough cash in reserves to cover off things like household expenses, right? Now, on top of that, I also talked about having an emergency fund, and for me personally, I calculated I need to have something at least about 3,000 set aside for emergencies like dental or car or whatever, okay? But in addition to that, Jason Greystone, who's part of our group here, who's on there, he actually came back and he gave a document that he circulates to his clients, and it's called, well, basically we put it up as goodie number 2, there it is, goodie number 2, called Your Cash Buffer. And in this, he's giving examples of cash buffers for business, and he talks about how to actually look up the financial spreadsheet for big companies, and you can look at things like their balance sheet and their financials, their cash and cash equivalents and short-term investments, and you can see how much money they've got in cash reserves, right? And so he said to create a table there of, you know, the big companies like Amazon and Microsoft and so forth, and based on that, reading a balance sheet. And he's talking about, you know, Robert Kiyosaki stuff about learn how to read a balance sheet, right? Well, based on that, he was able to actually calculate the liquidity of a company, and then again look at, okay, how much cash have they got at bank and how much money they're holding in reserves. And on that, he could say, well, these companies are really good ones to have to watch, and these ones are good companies simply because of the cash buffer reserves that they've got there, the cash cushion. So companies who we think would be doing really, really super well may not necessarily. But look, all of that's good if you're into big business. That's really good. And you've got this companion one if you want to do it for your personal finances. So you've got both of those reports are, where's this camera? I'm getting it backwards. Both of those are really good reports if you want to get them. Now, how do you get them? That's the question. How do you get these reports? They're not available anywhere else but inside the Multiply Your Money group. So if you want to get hold of these, you've got to go into Multiply Your Money and join the group, and then you've got access to goodies like that. There's a whole bunch of goodies inside the Multiply Your Money Facebook group, stuff that you won't find anywhere else. Well worth being in there. Okay, there's videos and there's some presentations and all that sort of stuff. So look, I'll put the link below so you can check how to join the group. If you're already inside this group, then the purpose of showing that is make sure you actually download those documents and use them, because they're really, really good. There's some really smart money ideas in there, okay? And it's a benefit for being a member. So there you go. Don't forget, you can always buy the book on Amazon. If you prefer to actually listen to podcasts instead of watching video, you can search on Multiply Your Money on Spotify or Multiply Your Money on Apple Podcasts, and you'll find the content right there. Hope that helps. Make sure you grab those goodies. They're good goodies. You know, they're really good. That's a benefit of being part of the group. And I'll see you soon. See ya.